We are going to be reviewing the new player experience for Disney Speedstorm in 2024. If you ever thought about getting into Disney Speedstorm, this is the video for you. I've been playing Disney Speedstorm since day one. Ever since it dropped in early access, I purchased myself a copy and I played Disney Speedstorm since day one. I've been covering Disney Speedstorm since day one as well, and that was a year ago. A lot has changed for new players, whether for bad or for worse, but today we are gonna dive deep and see what the new player experience is about. So first things first, you boot up the game. When you get in, you get a nice little cutscene that you're able to skip if you want to. After that, you're transported to tutorial land and it introduces Mickey, and it looks very good, very shiny. It looks really, really clean and slick. I actually like it because it really goes to show what Disney Speedstorm has to offer as a game in itself. It's really well designed. After they teach you a little bit and you move on from your first race, you then realize there is a starter circuit you have to complete. So the more races you do in that starter circuit, the more goodies you get. There's only 6 nodes, but they're basically saying finish out the starter circuit. As a new player, it's gonna feel great because you have a lot to do, and that's just only a piece of the game. Now, there are a few things that the tutorial didn't tell you. How to ram. Ramming is one of the main things in Disney Speedstorm, especially in multiplayer and even in tour with bots. Ramming is major, and so the fact that they didn't teach you how to ram makes me think that they realize that ramming is going to make players quit, and so they stopped teaching that. Ramming actually used to be in the tutorial a long time ago, so the fact that they removed it means there was a reason to do so. Another thing they never showed me how to do was how to level up my characters. They'll show an icon to level up your character, but they don't physically tell you that you can level up your character and why and how and what to do. Basically, it's kind of setting you up to waste all your materials on one character, and then when you find out you need materials for another character, you already used them, which means you're going to have to pay for more, or you're going to have to basically make a new account because you just ruined your whole entire career by wasting all of what you earned on one character. I also noticed that they didn't show you how to do a trick in this game, which honestly makes no sense because that's usually how all kart racers are. You do a trick in the air and you get a boost. You'll be at a major disadvantage, especially during your tour modes, by not learning how to trick. Once again, that was something that was inside of the old tutorial that is now removed. So it seems like they're trying to get you to lose to then put more money into your levels and help you win. One thing about Disney Speedstorm is that it is pay to win, and you actually don't need to drive really well to win if you have high levels. Maybe this is something they're trying to teach you as you're a new player, and so you go in thinking that money is how you win the races when you basically just aren't doing any drifting, or you aren't doing tricks, or you aren't ramming players. Another thing that they didn't really explain to you was what exactly each class does. Now, there is something kind of giving a brief description of each class, but they don't actually explain what the classes do. As an example, when you ram as a speedster, you get a free little boost. When you go over pads as a speedster, you also get nitros. There's different things that different classes have, but they didn't explain any of that. So you would kind of be going into the game blind, especially if you're playing multiplayer. Now, during this starter circuit, you're going to be unlocking things as you go. One of the things that you unlock early is going to be ranked mode. You could choose to do ranked mode if you want, or you can just say you do it later. I chose to do it later just because I wanted to make the video in a chronological order, and as a new player, you probably don't want to hop into ranked anyway. So I finished out the tour. After the tour, I was able to unlock the season tour. Now, before I was able to get into the season tour, they showed me the new tournament mode. And in the tournament mode, it's paywalled with characters, and it's paywalled with the amount of tries that you have. So it's already been kind of popping up the golden pass, and it's been popping up ads to buy things, but this was really showing you that, hey, you can't really do this unless you have it, but you can buy it if you want. With that, there are special packs in the shop for a new player that wants to purchase these, and they're pretty expensive. Getting into the season tour, the golden pass just popped up way too much for me. It would pop up once, you would accept it, and then it would pop up again. The only way you can avoid seeing the golden pass is if you skip it. However, basically each race you do, it pops up repeatedly. Now, they did separate the season into 2 parts, but I think when they separated it into 2 parts, they made it so you can level up your pass easier, by meaning it can pop up more often, meaning that if it pops up enough times, you might actually buy it, especially because up until this point, Speedstorm has been great. They do a really good job making you feel really good, and they do a good job like really selling that Disney vibe as a racer. It's an amazing job for a new player in its first, I want to say, hour. As you're playing the season tour, remember, they don't tell you about leveling up. And as you're playing the season tour, you're going to have to level up. Most likely. I was able to complete it without leveling up, but I'm an experienced player. If you're a new player or if you're someone who's not really a hardcore gamer, you're gonna have to level up because you're gonna start losing. What you do when you level up is you're gonna have to use shards and materials, right? And the game doesn't explain any of those. They don't really hammer home at all. They just talk about stars, but they don't explain how you level up and what shards are, how to get shards, where are shards, what are shards. They don't explain any of that. Another thing you'll notice is that when you're racing, there's a couple of characters that actually don't have voice lines. There's 3 characters from this new season that doesn't have voice lines. Now, what I think is this is a test. If players feel like it's okay to have no voice lines, I feel like they're going to release more characters with no voice lines. If you've seen my other videos before, I talk more about changes and updates that they've been doing and all that extra crazy stuff. If you want to see more, check those videos out. But I'm going to keep this one as objective as possible for new players or players who are thinking about playing Disney Speedstorm. After you start opening boxes, you'll start to also notice like a black screen whenever you're getting new crew members. Disney Speedstorm always had bugs and glitches, and it still does to this day. You would think after a year, a lot of these bugs and glitches would be fixed, but there's always bugs and glitches, and even ones that were present in early access when I was playing, they are still there till this day. And so a lot of what they do more or less when it comes to Disney Speedstorm is just typically add stuff to the game. There really is no improvement on the game. It's just we're adding a new character, we're adding a new track, and maybe some colorful flair. And that's pretty much what you get each season. So if you're going to play Disney Speedstorm, you are going to run into some bugs, some glitches and things like that. It is a mobile game. It's not a console game. Despite it being on console, it is not a console game. Their main focus is going to be money, not the improvement of the game. Just know if you're coming into a game wanting to see improvements and things like that, this isn't the game for you. But if you do want to see a game where they just add loads and loads every single season, this will be the game for you. Now, as I was playing through the tour, we ended up seeing a couple of paywalls. And by paywalls, it's either characters that you can get, but it's going to take a while to grind, or characters you just can't get anymore. So that's something to think about as well. You're going to be locked out of a lot of content, and this is just the season tour. You're going to be locked out of other things as well, but we'll get to that point. So within the season tour, I made it to chapter 3, but there was a few nodes that I could not unlock. Moving into chapter 3, you'll then also notice that you'll need a character of that season. You'll need a Wreck-It Ralph character or a Jungle Book character. As a new player, there's no way you have a Jungle Book character unless you spend money, so you most likely only have a Wreck-It Ralph character. They give you one for free. They give you Felix. That being said, if you use all of your leveling up materials on Mickey or any other character that you got, then you don't have enough for Felix, which means you're going to have to spend money or wait an extremely long time until you're able to then get the upgrade materials once more. A lot of Disney Speedstorm for a new player is kind of setting you up for failure and then allowing you to relieve that pain with money. It doesn't explain a lot of the things that are going to cause you stress and concern. It really just sells that Disney fantasy, and by the time you figure it out, you're too deep into the game and you don't want to quit, or you're going to continue to play. That's kind of how this game works. It is very easy to get hooked into Disney Speedstorm because of how they present it at the start, but that's not the real game. That's the game that it was supposed to be. But the real game that it is shows up about maybe 2 hours into your journey, 2 hours into your playtime. Once you get to the end of chapter 3, you'll notice that there's a boss there, but there's something interesting about that boss. That boss is 3 stars. They made a new system that only allows you to get 3 stars if you hit level 30. So that boss has 3 stars. Stars give racers bonus speed. It's hidden stats. I've done a video on this in the past. If you want to see it, check it out. But stars give hidden stats. They made it so that this bot has 3 stars at level 21. This means that most likely all the season tours or all the limited events that are in this game from this point on are going to be a little bit skewed in that regard. Even if your minimum level required, it can still possibly be harder because they are hiding these stars from you. This means you're always at a disadvantage if they do decide to tweak the bots to have an extra star over you. You won't be able to beat them easily or at all, and it makes it appear as though all you need to do is get a little bit more levels. When in actuality, they're actually asking you to get way more levels than you need to complete that race. So after that was all said and done, I then moved on to the limited events. So the limited events goes as follows. We have the upgrade event, then we have the booster pass for your character. You get 1 shard every week and then 1 shard on the weekend, or like 2 shards on the weekend. It's a very slow grind, and you can't grind those shards unless you own the character. So you're basically locked out of that thing as well. When it comes to the leaderboard event, it's pay to win. If you take a look at the leaderboard, you'll notice a lot of 50s, 40s, and whatnot. Those are all the cashers. Those are people who spend a lot of money on the game, and those are the people that you're probably not going to beat on the leaderboard. So in Disney Speedstorm, leaderboards aren't truly leaderboards. You are destined to lose. You are destined to not get rewards because you didn't pay as much as they did. The next event that we have is the limited racer event. And so you're only able to participate in this event if you have one of these characters. This account does not have those characters, so I don't even get a chance to participate in that event. The last event that they have is the character event, and this is going to be the event that you use to unlock that character. However, you need characters to unlock that character, and you need characters at certain levels to unlock that character. So essentially, you're also locked out of that unless you plan to spend money. If we talk about the other 3 events that are towards the bottom of the page, these are going to be your upgrade event, which is going to go away. You're not going to have that anymore eventually. Then you have a Star Chaser event, and this is a way for you to get characters that you're missing out on. It's not that many shards, but it's something. Then you have the other one, which is your daily mission. This is the one where you go in daily and you can get coins and upgrade materials and whatnot. And then on the weekend, you have a weekend version, which again, you get coins and whatnot on the weekend. So after the limited event, we then move on to multiplayer. Now, multiplayer was interesting because when you go into a game of multiplayer, usually there are bots, but in this season, and I don't know if it's because the collection level of this account is low, so I'm basically a real new player, but they code the bots to look like real people. And what I mean is usually bots will have a bot symbol. If you take a look at any videos of previous seasons of anybody's channel, you'll see that these bots have bot symbols. They look like Arby, the little thing with the little dot on the head. But when I did it with this new account on this new season, the bots had PlayStation, Xbox, they weren't real. So this means that it's also possible that they could be faking the leaderboard events as well. So again, it's kind of another way to kind of set you up for failure. They're making their game seem like it's live when it's not, using fake accounts to make you feel like you're playing against real players. Playing a ranked mode against bots is never fun, so they masked it to make it look like you're playing against real players. Most games on the market will let you know that there's a bot in your game. If they don't let you know there's a bot in your game, they're not gonna hide it and make it seem like it's a real player. They're just gonna like have it there, and if you find out it's a bot, it's a bot. There's bots, but it's more of a guessing game. However, in Speedstorm, it's literally labeled as a real person, and it says Xbox, PlayStation, computer, or mobile. That is a new thing, and that has never ever happened in Disney Speedstorm until this season. The issue with ranked is that it's more pay to win than it should be. It's not a real ranked mode, it's more of a wallet mode. If you have more money, you will win more games. However, recently there has been a change in season 7 that makes it so it's easier for everyone to level up. The issue with this is it's easier for everyone to level up. So not only are you behind because you haven't spent money yet, you're going to be behind players that just been playing way longer than you. The bright side is you could level up your rank to platinum even if you lose. But after platinum, you are going to have to start winning your matches, which most likely will be impossible for you as a new player. So this basically means your ranked climb stops at platinum unless you plan on paying money. After we were done with multiplayer, we then moved on to local and private play. There has been a recent change, maybe about 2 months ago, where they removed all the characters from private and local play, and you're only able to play the characters that you have. If you don't know what private match is, that's when you go against players online and you invite your friends to play with you. It's like it's a private room. Local play is where you play with people around your house. You have 2 or 3 controllers, you guys can all play together. However, again, like I said, you can't play any other character in this game, only the ones you own. And in order for you to own those characters, you're gonna have to pay, or you're gonna have to have owned them another way. This basically means you don't have any characters to play and you can't play your favorite character if you didn't unlock them already. If we move on to the shop, you'll notice that there's some boxes you can spin. You'll notice that there's some characters you can collect if you pay for them. You'll notice that there are cash currencies you can buy. You'll notice all that good stuff. Towards the bottom, you'll notice your personal shop, and this is going to be a shop that's only for you and that only you can see. And you can't unlock the final 2 slots until you've unlocked 500 multiplayer coins. This means you're going to have to play ranked to get them. Remember, you can get to platinum just by losing, but after platinum, you are going to have to win. This state of the game right now is pretty poor. There's no improvements to the game. There's just characters being added, and that's pretty much it. Ever since early access season 3, the game has gotten progressively worse over time. The decisions made has always been made to make more money, and you can kind of tell the more and more they made those decisions, it was because the less and less money they get. This would also explain some of the tactics that they're doing now is because players just don't play this game. After they play for a little bit of time, they realize the game is no good and they stop playing. The only players still playing this game right now are players who can't stop playing. The fact that they're tricking new players into thinking that there's players inside the lobby when there's nobody there but 2 players. The fact that you're making the tour harder than it should be by making bots have more stars and hidden stats to be faster than you. The fact that you're locking things behind so many walls. The fact that you're removing key mechanics from tutorial modes to teach players how to play because you don't want them to realize ramming is in the game because they most likely don't play the game after that. The fact that you're removing characters from local play so people can't play with their families, their wives, their kids, their husbands. The fact that we're doing all of this really does scream that the way that the game has been going has not been going in the right direction. I've been making videos on this channel for a full year talking about this, how every single decision they made was poor. So again, this most likely isn't the game for you if you want improvement on the game, and I wouldn't recommend this game unless you really love Disney and unless you have money, because otherwise you're not going to enjoy yourself at all after the first hour or two. Until next time, you know what I always say. Think you guys are doing what? Poppin' often. Will often.